Hello everyone. I'm going to do a demonstration on how to bind a book using normal paper and using regular household materials. Okay, the first thing we'll need is a pair of safety scissors, some glue, okay, a straight edge ruler, a glue stick, and we'll need some paper. Okay, what I'm going to propose in my demonstration is we're going to use some normal construction paper, a couple different colors, okay, and we're going to use some kind of interior paper. So I'm going to use Astro Bright. Okay, it's paper stock. It's not that expensive. It's got a nice finish and it's got a nice thickness. This was about $12 or $13, and it's a whole ream of paper. And the construction paper you can get anywhere. I'm going to show you a sample of what we're going to work towards. Okay, this is a book I created just a few minutes ago. Okay, it's got a cover. Okay, covers is made of construction paper. It's got page spreads. Okay, it can be used as a journal. It could be used as a perhaps a catalog of some kind, scrapbook. Okay, simple binding. As you can see, it has something called a perfect binding. Okay, it doesn't mean it's perfect in quality. It just means it's a type of binding that's used commonly in books. Okay, any paperback book is considered a perfect bind. There are other kinds of binding. I think you've seen spiral, saddle stitch, or some others, but this is the kind of binding that we're gonna use today to demonstrate. Okay, let's start by creating the interior of our book. Okay, I mentioned the Astro Bright paper. Okay, the Astro Bright is 8.5 by 11. Okay, now as you can see, it's a cardstock, so it has some weight to it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to create some interior style book pages. And what we're going to do to start off, we're going to take the 8.5 by 11, I'm going to fold it. Okay, fingers are okay. What I like to do is take the safety scissors and kind of burnish it down so you get a nice nice edge. I'm going to create a signature, which is at least 8 pages, okay, if I'm not mistaken. I design books, and I'm still not clear on exactly what a signature is, but what we're going to do is we're going to build our book. I want at least 10 spreads in my book, and you wonder what's a spread. Okay, a spread, I'm going to show you what a spread is. Remember our book here? Okay, here's the opening page. Okay, now a spread is 2 pages together. This is considered a spread. Okay, I want at least 10 in my book. So to make 10 spreads, we're going to have to use about 5 sheets. Okay, so each book you see is 1 spread, so to get 10 we need 5 sheets. So I'm going to take 5 sheets of folded paper. Okay, this is only 3, but what I'm going to do, I'm not going to put them inside each other. Remember, I'm creating a book now, so I'm not going to put them inside each other like this, because what happens is when you put books together, you end up getting an edge here. Okay, I don't want that. It's called a choke. Anything called a choke I don't want in my project. But anyway, it could be trimmed. Okay, but to avoid the choke, I'm going to put these papers together, one on top of each other. Okay, so that's how we're going to build our book. See, it's not one inside the other, it's on top. Okay, so once I get 7, I'm going to take my stapler. Okay, very simple. Now remember, a stapler is not that. A normal paper office stapler is not going to get through all the pages, especially if I have 5 pages. So you either have to press hard or get a different industrial stapler. So I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to show you, just like in the cooking shows, here's what it looks like after I've stapled it. Okay, you can see the staples. Sometimes they come through okay, but sometimes you have to try a few times. Okay, Anyway, so it's a nice firm binding, but we're not going to leave it like that. That's just the first part. Okay, so let's do the next part of our book, which is to make the cover. Okay, we're going to take a piece of construction paper. Now, as you can see, a piece of construction paper isn't the same size as our normal 8.5 by 11. A piece of construction paper is 9 inches by 12 inches, and that's going to help us. What I did is I took a sheet of our normal cardstock that we're using for our interior, and as you can see, there's an edge here where it overlaps. It's approximately a ½ inch, maybe a little less, about a little more than a ¼ inch. So what I did was I traced, using my pencil, I traced line. Okay. And I trimmed it using my scissors. Again, scissors are nice because they're they're safe. You know, no one's going to hurt themselves with a pair of safety scissors, especially if you're, supervising a young person, or maybe you haven't done much work with paper and cutting and gluing. Again, this is the only cut we're going to have to make, which is nice about this technique and about using these standard size papers. Great. Okay, now that we have our piece of cover stock cut, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to wrap it around our book. Okay, here's our book again. Now, the idea now is to not just fold to make a straight fold. We want to make a fold that's going to fit this book together. See how it's not a straight fold. It's actually got about a ¼ of an inch. Okay, so we're going to try to duplicate that in our cover. Okay, how we're going to do that? Well, we want a little ¼ inch, I guess you call it a gullet. I'm not sure what it's called, a gutter maybe. But how we're going to do that was we're going to fold this, give it about, I guess about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, see how the difference is there? There's 1/8 of an inch between the edge of the paper and the paper underneath, and that's what we want. Make sure it's nice and even. Let me give it a nice fold. Again, I'm using my fingers, but you can use your burnisher. Some people actually wear gloves when they're doing this type of work, but for me it's okay. This is a demonstration. Okay, so now we have a nice crease. You can see it's not even, but that's a good thing. Now we're gonna take our piece of paper, and now the other side we're gonna do the same type of thing. We're gonna use about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, see that there? Okay, see the way that's folded? See how there's 1/8 of an inch between the front and the back? That's what we want. Make sure it's nice and even. Okay, we're going to give it another fold. Fingers are okay. Fingers are our friends. Okay, I'm going to take my safety scissors, give it a nice burnish. Okay, so now what we did is we created a cover stock with a little edge there. Okay, that's going to help us when we insert our book. Remember, the height of our book is the same as our interior. Okay, that's going to fit right into there very nicely. So to keep it together, we're going to use our glue. Okay, I'm going to take our glue, and we're going to get a bead of glue, okay, right there into that seam. Okay, I'm going to try it right here. Keeping the glue nice and generous, but always right inside that seam. Okay. Now when we take our book, bring back our book, and there's a shadow here. Okay, we're going to place our book right in that seam, and we're going to fold it over. We're going to adjust it so that that glue fits right into our seam. Okay, should look something like that. Okay, you can adjust it to make sure the paper is centered. You have to do it quickly before the glue dries. Okay, it should be nice and flat because we measured correctly. Okay. We'll press it along, and before it dries we'll have a chance to line it up and make sure it's nice and straight before it dries. Okay, so now that that's done, you notice that there's a little extra between the page and the construction paper. Okay, that's a good thing, because what we're going to do is we're going to sturdy it up. We're going to take our construction paper and we're going to fold and use a little glue to create a binding, a nice little structure here of our book. Again, here goes our fingers again. Fingers are okay. Fingers are our best tools. They're our friends. Okay. Here comes our glue. Okay. I'm going to fold. Usually I start in the middle. Start in the middle of this fold here, because then I can work outwards and it creates a kind of a nice flow. Sometimes I have to hold it. Sometimes I have to hold it. Get some of this out. That's going to keep our book nice and sturdy, and it's going to keep the cover on. You can hold it for a second or two until it bonds. Elmer's glue is pretty good for that. Okay, now it's good. I'm going to turn over on the other side. You can see our binding is a little loose, but you can add a little glue, extra glue, but I think I'm just going to go with it, because we can fix that later. Okay, same thing. Line it up. It's a little off, but that's okay. Should get a new bottle of glue. This was hanging around in my drawer. Okay. Okay, there it goes. Again, simple materials. We're not using anything fancy. These books are great for journaling. They're great for creating art books. If you want to record experiences, you want to make a collage on each page, they're great for that. Again, I'm folding it down now, just like we did the other side. Maybe hold it down for a second until the glue picks up. Okay, now we're almost done. Now the glue's going to take a few minutes to set, but Elmer's and construction paper are a great combination. They really bond well. So now you see our book is almost done. I'm just going to pinch the spine a bit, okay, to get that nice clean edge. Maybe use this will help the construction paper bond to the inside of the pages. Okay, and once that's done, you have a nice clean book. Between the staples and the glue, it's going to be nice and sturdy. Okay, like any book, you don't want to rip it open too hard. Any book will fall apart. But once the glue dries, you're going to find it's a very nice way to construct books. Okay. Anyway, thank you for watching.